All right. So how are you doing, Violet?
I'm doing okay. Doing okay.
Okay.
It was an
Okay.
it was an all right week.
Okay. All right.
Mm.
Have you been finding that just, getting together consistently, meeting and talking about different things, have you found that to have been bringing about some sort of transformation or relief within your experience a little bit?
This is all, it's taken some getting used to, but
Hmm.
um,
And excuse me, not the word relief, I'll say awareness, a new
mm,
awareness. Not so much relief, but just as it brought about a new awareness to things that may have not been evident, to you before.
yeah, I mean, I think I'm aware of just this. Uh, I don't know. It's like a tight fish. We were talking about the flowers
Hmm.
last week, and I love these flowers that are around my house, and it's just they're all these beautiful colors, but I feel like that one flower that just doesn't bloom. You
Hmm.
know, I can't. My ex called me, and it's just the same stuff. I just keep attracting, the same people. I don't see how, like, I feel better, but I also don't feel like I can really change. I'm still just gonna just be this. I'm just a closed up kind of person. I can't be that type of out and expressive person that other people can be, and I just have. I'm a fearful person.
Okay. Well, one thing that you touched upon that's, definitely a strength, whether you realize it or not, is the acknowledgement and the awareness and the acceptance of the fact that you are yourself and you're not like anybody else. And that's definitely something to look at and to explore further. You know, the metaphor of the flower that is amongst these other flowers that have reached their full potential or blooming, and you not, you know, um, blooming. It has a, you have to think about your company and the flowers that you may be around, and you know what blooming means to them in respect to what blooming means to you, because we only have our company to compare to. And everybody might be wearing purple with stripes, but for you, you're like, what, I really want to wear purple and stripes. So sometimes we retreat from the crowd and the norm in order to figure out what it actually is for us specifically. So in the vein of what you were speaking about, when I thought about the closed flower, I thought about something being tightly wound or even weighted, weighted down. And I wanted to invite the ritual, or I would say a ritual, in doll making, in creating a tangible image that reflects all of the things or some of the things in which you would like to change and transform. Putting all of that energy into that object, and being able to create some space between you and it, um, may bring some may create some space emotionally, mentally, as well as physically. Would you be open to exploring that further?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you look over to your left, there are some art making supplies, some wool felt, some styrofoam, sticks, paints, things of that nature. You have complete creative license to just connect with connect with the different supplies, and see what you want to work with, and just begin to design what all of those things may be for you.
Okay.
And you can begin whenever you're ready.
This color kind of looks like one of the flowers that I see, and I like it because there's this kind of, it's like this orangish red, and you know, we, I always think of my father and how I kind of, it makes it, I shrink away because he didn't like me wearing reds, and I
Mm.
always think reds and oranges are so beautiful, and and then I just want to give her a, I guess, kind of a face, but I don't know, I guess not really a mouth.
Wow. Okay. So thank you for, first of all, sharing her with me and participating in this exercise. And, now I invite you to just take a look at her and kind of get an idea of what you sense from her. What is she saying to you through what she's wearing, through her colors, through what does her voice sound like? What does she say?
Well, the first thing I notice is that I love so much about the colors and what I did that looks like I gave her a face, but her mouth is like this, like
Mm-hmm.
like she can't open her mouth,
Mm-hmm.
and her, I'm looking laughing because her cloth is wrapped up so tight. I just
Mm-hmm.
This looks so constricted.
So how would you go about making an adjustment or transforming that?
I mean, I just wanna readjust her cloth a bit right now. Give her a little bit of air in there. Maybe give her a little something so that here it looks like she's got her mouth open and she can speak and she can sing. I always wanted to sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how did that feel to know that that power rests with you in order to make those adjustments and those transformations, to be able to give voice to someone who is voiceless, to be able to free someone who feels confined, or provide a flow where there's rigidity? How does that feel to have that power to do that?
I'm I'm thinking I saw this woman yesterday and she was so beautiful and I was so scared I didn't want to say anything, but I'm looking at how pretty she is in her dress, and her mouth looks like she could say something to her. Just like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the beautiful thing that this ritual offers is it offers an opportunity to create space between you and the challenge or the presumed challenge. Because right here, with this work that you've done, you've been able to use your power in order to give voice to something that needs to be heard,
mm-hmm.
and in order to free something that needs to breathe, that needs to fly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just offering this as a tool for you as you're moving forward in your week. And you may end up having dozens of dolls, depending on what you're called to, or there may be little spirit animals, different things, whatever you're called to create, that can take on all of those things that may be presenting challenge or maybe standing in front of your path, in order for you to get to where it is you would like to get to as far as how you communicate and express yourself in relationships. So I just want to offer that to you, something that you can take your time with, and just see where it guides you, see where it leads you.
Okay.
So yeah. So how does that sit with you?
I'll try it.
Okay.
I'll add her to my other piece for my session altar this week.
Mm-hmm.
See what.
Yeah. Yeah. See if that might be a new place for her to land, a place where she feels safe and comfortable. And the beauty within that is that the edits are all up to you. Whatever you decide to add and take away is completely up to you. Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time, for being open, and for trusting me with your story.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Violet.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Better and the same.
Better and the same. How are you better and how are you the same?
Better because of the new awareness that has been brought to some things that were I was completely unaware of, or that have just been laying dormant. Because then it helps. It gives me a little bit of a directive as to what to focus on and what, where I need help. The same is that within this space of help and beginning this supportive like relationship, I am still hosting, the same level of toxicity in some of the relationships that I have, getting off the phone with somebody and being terribly frustrated, and then thinking to myself, well, why did I, first of all, why did I call them, or why did I respond to their text, or why did I create space for them to continue to live, and really just becoming frustrated with myself for even hosting, So, yeah. So better and the same.
Better and the same. Mm-hmm. So how was your week with the dog? Did you end up?
Yeah, that's where that awareness came from. Just really being able to put a great deal of the things that I want to change into this image that I could look at, that I could hold away from myself, realizing that it was now living in this object and not necessarily in me. But then really, because usually when you're dealing with something that consumes you a great deal, you don't always know, like, okay, well, where do I go now that I know it's outside of me, and that, I'm not supposed to be my situation, but now what's the new situation? What do I fill it up with? What direction do I even walk in? Because I've had so much practice in this, I've had so much practice in this.
So I'm wondering if the doll making resonated with you.
Yeah, it was really fun. Like, I had a good time, playing around with the fabrics, with the paints, and creating this, well, even starting, just not even creating, but really allowing, because I felt like at a certain point I was being guided to what to use, so that, because it had a message for me somehow. So it was very intuitive, like almost to the point that I would put it down because it was very intense, because there were certain things like during the week that I just wasn't in the mood to see or even accept. So it was very powerful work. And then I just kind of rested her on my altar and decided, like, that's where she's, going to live. And when I have anything that I need to release or need any assistance on, I go to the altar and speak it.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful to hear. And it sounds pretty, well, I'm wondering if you would like to engage in doll making again this week. What I heard was that, the better and the same, that in terms of your relationship with, and what I heard was the word toxicity. And then just how to be in this new. And I'm wondering if this is an opportunity to work with the doll again, to perhaps see if a new information of that new can come.
Yeah, I'm open.
Okay. So you have all the materials around.
Yeah.
And when you think about the new, and gratitude to the doll from last week who's given so much information, and in the context of everything in the altar work that we've been doing together, that you've been doing, And this new doll who does avoid those phone calls, or has the boundaries to not have conversations that she doesn't want to be involved in. I wonder what should make this doll. How would she what would she tell me about her? What would her story be?
Okay, so you want me to start constructing her? Okay.
Start, and if it's okay, I'm going to sit and just witness for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here, any part of your process.
Yeah, well, she's definitely very firm in her stance. Like she's almost like a statue. She's, she has like this. Her eyes see far beyond what most people would think, and there's a protective nature about her. She's very colorful, but also like very knowing of the dark, because if she has to go and pull anything out, she's well versed in those roads. But she's a light worker, and she kind of just stands keeping watch out and signaling all of the ones below to let them know, like, look out, look out. So yeah, this is kind of what I came up with. And she kind of stands, like I said, she stands as a lookout. She reminds me of like an indigenous like mama. She reminds me of this like futuristic monk almost.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and she just kind of holds post, and that's her service. So yeah.
And I noticed that the way that you carried over those colors, but they've completely shifted. The way that you use those blues and yellows, it's incredible. And I also noticed that the shape is very different in terms of the base. Like you said, she's very, very grounded in that power that you have.
She's very grounded force. She kind of has to be, because when you're thinking about something that is giving permission or has a certain strength, they can't be on shaky ground. It's like you want to know that their word is the final word, that you're like, okay, you said yes, okay, the doors are open, okay, cool, and I don't have to question it, so yeah, there's a strength in her stillness.
Strength in her stillness. I feel that. I see that. And what does she give permission for?
She gives permission for everything that I am. The light, the dark, the uncertain, the freedom, the colors that I want to paint, the seriousness, the fun, and the fear. She kind of also gives me permission to be afraid, but to be more brave than I am afraid. And, in the midst of, like I said, there's speckles of darkness that are present, but the color is abundant, and just with all of the different shapes and textures that are kind of coming together to make something cohesive, she reminds that, all the differences are celebrated, and nothing will be judged or criticized here. There's room for everything to coexist in harmony. As long as you're your true self, you won't be turned away.
As long as you're your true self, you won't be turned away.
Yeah.
And what does all of that permission allow for you?
It first of all opens my eyes for me to attract more healing relationships, not to feel like I am obligated to people because I've known them for 20 years or because, we had an intimate relationship. So if they call me for $700, which I don't think, like, I have no idea when they're going to pay me back. It's like, I'm obligated because of the connection and the relationship. I don't, it's knowing that just wanting to attract people that love themselves. So therefore they have space for love. And also just not being so preoccupied with love based on gender, because there are times that I have connections with spirits and beings, and they might be, assigned male or female, but I'm not seeing that because I'm dealing with auric, I'm dealing with light, I'm dealing with metaphysics, I'm dealing with connection and, understanding duality and, just each being as a presence and wanting to be able to explore that, but, have to shy away from it because of what I've been conditioned, into believing what is socially acceptable. And then also thinking about, how it might be frowned upon because I am from the Caribbean and I have a child, I'm a mother, and, thinking about what that would look like in the school community, how would that look amongst my family, my child's, father's family. Yeah. Because there's this fear of being ostracized as a result, just because of what you've seen on the island. There are people who just for them being themselves and walking out and wanting to march and show pride for who they are, they're stoned to death, they're beaten. The police and authorities tell them that there's no protection for them. So if someone attacks them, they're killed, assaulted, anything. It's basically the police said, well, there's a disclaimer, we told you so. So there's this whole thing around not being free to be that. And so just exploring my queerness and what that means, like really just about those energetic fields that my upbringing, there just wasn't room for that. And even down to my work, like figuring out what it means to make happy money and not just keeping a job because that's what you're expected to do. And it's almost like you're raised to believe that you're not supposed to be happy at your job. Your job is supposed to provide. And wanting to connect with those spaces and myself as well.
And so this light worker who can see in the dark, does she have and does she give permission to explore and connect and all of those things?
Yeah, she does. Because she's a being. She's not, I don't even like calling her she, like she's just a being. She's a spirit. She doesn't, there's no gender here. She's just kind of like, she shows up and you feel a calm and you feel like the name that just came up for me was Yasu, and Yasu is Japanese for calm, but Yasu is also a name that, for anybody, if you have a boy or a girl, it's actually the name of my unborn son is Yasu. But if it's a girl, it's like, okay, it's still Yasu. So, yeah. And Yasu just denotes like this power of stillness.
I'd like to thank Yasu. And I wonder, where would you like to, or how would you like to place Yasu? How would you like to interact with Yasu in regards to your altar, other doll?
Yeah, I have like I have these shelves that go into the corner, of the room, and I would really want to put Yasu on that because it would be center stage. When I wake up, I would look directly in that corner, and this image would be there, reminding me of the freedom that exists in me choosing to be, choosing to listen to my inner self. And begin to embody that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for engaging in this exploration. And thank you, Yasu.
Yes, thank you.